Oh, and the best show on television, in my opinion, it is back. Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1. It aired last night. In this video, I'm giving my thoughts on it, giving my reviews. And yes, heavy spoilers in this video, guys. So if you want to avoid spoilers, make sure you check out this video after you've already seen Episode 1. If you've already checked it out and you want to see my thoughts on it, well, you know what to do, guys. Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back and I am talking about my favorite show, Game of Thrones. A little bittersweet last night. It is the beginning of the end. Yes, the first episode of the 8th and final season aired. And so happy that it's back, but already knowing that this is the last season. But I was very happy with the episode last night. A lot of storylines came together. Been waiting for many seasons for a lot of these characters to reunite, and we got it last night. And we get the first part of the spoiler, or the reveal from Sam and Bran. All right, so first thing that I noticed in the episode was this, the wall in the opening credits. I thought it was a nice little touch that they threw the wall in there with a hole in it. Then they went underneath Winterfell and went into the catacombs. They went underneath and through a lot of different things. So just getting more and more expansive with the opening credits. I like that. And then we got the opening titles, Game of Thrones, very slightly different than what was shown previously, but a little different and good. It's a nice little touch. All right, so when we get into the episode, first thing we see is this boy running, and we see him running very similar to how we saw Arya running and Bran running, all running around before a big procession in that first season. And then we cut to Arya looking at him. So you see that change in her character from this little wondrous kid to this girl that's been through a lot, and she has been through a lot if you were watching any of the other seasons. Then we cut back to Ned and look at his vantage point of all these warriors coming to Winterfell. So yes, a lot of similarities to what we've already seen in season 1 when Robert and his crew was coming to Winterfell. This time it is Jon Snow, Daenerys, and their crew coming to Winterfell. And here we see the first look of Daenerys and Jon Snow as they are riding into Winterfell. This is from Arya's point of view, and I was wondering, is Jon Snow gonna look down at her? Is he gonna see and recognize Arya? And he does not. She sees the Hound, and very similar. She saw the Hound in season 1 as well, coming to Winterfell, except the Hound had a mask on at the time. This time, they have been through a lot, both of them, and they spent a few seasons together, just the two of them traveling. So he did not look down at her either, and neither did Gendry. We also see Gendry wondering what is going to happen when the three of them reunite, which we'll get to in just a little bit. You also see the dragons, and the people of Winterfell are, oh my goodness, what is this dragon? I don't think they've seen a dragon. I know they've heard about them in a lot of the tales, but yeah, I don't think any of them alive have seen a dragon, so this is a big time for them, I think. But yeah, I love the CGI of all these dragons. I think they look cool. The sound effects that they put with them just gives them that larger than life sense. And this is the shot as he is looking at Bran for the first time in a long time. Then they cut to them. They are having that conversation, and Bran is very different. Jon Snow's look quickly changes, and we then cut to him talking to Sansa for the first time. Also, little interesting note here. We see little Lyanna Mormont. This is Jorah right here. Not sure if they're gonna do something, but she is now the head of the household that he was supposed to be the head of if he didn't go into slave trading. But I'm wondering if they were gonna do something with them in a future episode or this episode. Doesn't happen in this episode, but I'm looking forward to it in a future episode, see if they revisit that. All right. Then we see Daenerys meeting Sansa for the first time. Important moment of the episode, important moment of the whole storyline, kind of bringing these storylines that have been so divided, that have been so far apart, all these people, and they're finally coming together for this big war that is about to happen. They are talking. She said, "I'm glad you're here," but you could tell the look on her face. She is just saying that. And Brandon says, "What are you guys doing? Stop arguing, or stop making all these pleasantries." They weren't arguing. They were making these pleasantries. So stop doing that. You got some other things to worry about. The Night King broke down the wall, and he has one of your dragons. Uh-oh, we better get to it. So then we cut to that town meeting, and they are talking. This says, Lord Umber, why aren't your people here? Well, he says, well, I need some more horses and carts. He says, well, go get them. We'll give you all that we can spare. Then, the bear, Lyanna Mormont, she says to Jon Snow, what are you now? You're not our king anymore now that you've bent the knee. What do we call you? Are you just no one? He says, well, the titles, they don't matter. What matters is that we're saving the North. We need to save the North. We need to band together. We need to stop fighting. We need to come together and listen to this lady. She is the queen, and I believe in her, so should you. And Tyrion says, yeah, believe in him, and we got the Lannister army coming. And she's like, what? We can't believe the Lannister army is coming. So then they're talking a little later. They're talking one-on-one, alone. First time since Joffrey's wedding, since that awesome day at Joffrey's wedding. And then Tyrion says, most have underestimated you, and most are dead now. And she says, oh yeah, you know what's up. Then he says, well, don't worry, it sucks, but we have the Lannister army coming soon. And she says, oh, Tyrion, you're so silly. I used to think you were the cleverest man alive. And then she walks off. Then he starts looking out in the distance thinking, and look who's looking at him. Bran is just watching him. He's always watching Wachowski. So then we cut to Jon Snow at the big tree of Winterfell, looking into it, seeing if he can get some wisdom. And who is behind him? It is Arya. Yes, we got that big reunion. Another one of these big reunions that we've been waiting for so many seasons. So many different storylines paid off and left to start other storylines, because we needed a lot of closure for these storylines so that we could start new ones. And we're moving towards the end game of Game of Thrones now, guys. All right, so then very, very emotional moment. Good stuff here. This was needed after 7 seasons of a lot of bad happening to these guys. Says, hey, that's the sword I gave you. She says, yeah, you know what's up. It's called Needle. And he says, yeah, this is my sword. It was supposed to be Jorah's, but he gave it to me because I'm better than him. And then they hug, and he says, hey, don't forget about your family. He says, I'm your family. He says, yeah, you better remember that, dude. So then we cut to Cersei and the Mountain and Qyburn. Qyburn comes in and tells her, hey, the North is falling. She's like, oh yeah, that's actually a good thing. That's what I was hoping for. As she's looking out on the golden army that Euron has brought her with this dude right here. Euron is happy, and we cut to him in his chambers, and there is Yara. So yes, she is not dead. She is still alive. She says, hey, what are you gonna do? He says, well, I'm gonna go hook up with the queen tonight. So then we are in the queen's chambers with Euron and this dude from the golden army. She says, have you brought me all my men? He's like, there's a few missing, but most of them are here. She says, what about the elephants? There's no elephants. They're not here. And she is not happy. And then he says, hey, I brought you all this stuff. When are we going to hook up? She says, and her line, this is a good line. You want a whore? Buy one. You want a queen? Earn her. And then he's like, hey, what do I need to do to earn the queen? Because, man, I've brought you this army. I've brought you respect. I've won these wars for you. She's like, you're right. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. Then she's like, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to go have some fun. Then we cut to Bronn, who was in the middle of having some fun. Qyburn comes in with a crossbow and says, here, take this. We got some gold waiting for you. You need to go kill Tyrion. You need to go kill Jaime. And he's like, ooh. So I hope he doesn't do it. I hope that is not how they end Jaime, and that is how I hope they don't end Tyrion. They've been through so many seasons. I hope it's not Bronn that does them in. I hope he has a good change of heart. Although he doesn't look like he is fully on board with this. Then we cut back to Cersei. They have already hooked up, her and Euron. And her first line after that is, man, I really wanted those elephants. And yes, she really did. Euron is his normal cocky self. Then we cut to Euron's ship, and oh, someone has had the balls to kill his men looking for a escape mission for Yara. Who has the balls to do this? Well, I guess you don't need the balls to do this. It is Theon. He is on board. He is saving his sister after she saved him. She knocks him out or knocks him down with a big headbutt. And all is forgiven with this little handshake. Not a handshake, but she's helping him up, which means that all is forgiven between them. He says, where are you gonna go? I'm gonna go back to the Iron Islands and take that because Euron is busy with the queen. He says, well, can I go back and find Daenerys and Jon and fight in that war? She says, yeah, you can go. So then we got Davos talking to Tyrion, and he says, if you want the loyalty from the people of the North, you have to earn it. He says, well, do we have a plan? He says, yeah, we want them to hook up. They are looking like a good couple. They are looking like they will be good to lead. He says, hey, you know what? My dragons, they're not eating as much. Let's go see what's up with them. So then they go visit the dragons. She says like, hey, you want to ride a dragon? It's like, yeah, how do you ride a dragon? He says, well, nobody knows how to ride a dragon until they ride a dragon, so he gets on top. Now this, interesting enough, is Rhaegal the dragon, which was named after Rhaegar, which is his dad. So interesting that they have that very cinematic, the way they're doing this. And they're all riding, this really cool scene. And then they go to this romantic place. Look at that, waterfalls in the snow. They are looking happy. They're about to kiss. Oh, the longing looks in their eyes, guys. And oh, little did they know that that is the aunt and that is the nephew. Oh, they are looking like they're about to find out though. The part that what I was wondering as I was watching this is, I wonder what's gonna happen when they find out who they really are and how they are related. Still haven't got to that part in this episode, but it looks like it is coming soon based on what we've seen in the previews for the next episode. And as they are kissing, the dragons are watching, guys. They are approving, which means that something is up with Jon Snow. He doesn't know it, she doesn't know it yet. We as the audience know what's up with him though. And then they cut to Arya and Gendry and the Hound. They haven't seen each other for a while. It says, hey, the last time I saw you, you left me for dead. He's like, not only did I do that, but I also robbed you too. So he's like, well, you are a cold-hearted, you know what, and that's probably why you survived. He walks away, the music changes, so it appears all is forgiven with them as well, and she starts to talk to Gendry, who calls her Milady. He hasn't done that in a long time, and even in their first episode before, even in their first meeting, not the first episode, but their first meeting, he was doing that just before he even knew who she was, so a little bit of callback there. And he says, hey, it's good to see you again. Can you make me this right here? This is a dragon glass right there. And we will see what happens. A little foreshadowing, I think, to something that's gonna come in a future episode. Maybe that's how she saves somebody. I don't know. Then we cut to Sansa. They're talking about Daenerys. And she sees how he's talking about her. Says, hey, Jon, did you bend the knee to save the North? Or because you're in love with her? No answer from Jon. And then we're here at this scene with Daenerys and Sir Friendzone talking to Sam. Sam is his all happy, good lucky self. They're having a nice conversation. Hey, Queen, can you pardon me with from some of these books that I stole? Oh, when I stole this sword from my dad. Who's your dad? Oh, Randall Tarley. Oh, well, yeah, he didn't bend the knee and he's not alive anymore. And Sam is sad. First time that I remember seeing Sam sad in a long time, if not forever, because he's always a very happy-go-lucky guy as well. That sucks, but at least now I can go home now that my brother's here. Well, your brother stood by your dad, and he's even more sad. This is the most visually shaken up that we've seen Sam, like I said, probably ever. And then she's sad, and Jorah's remorseful. He goes out, and who is the first person that he sees? It is Bran, the three-eyed raven. He is always watching. He says, hey, what are you doing here? Well, I am waiting for an old friend, is what Bran says. Now, who is he referring to? Was he referring to Sam? Was he referring to Jaime that is coming later in the episode? Or is he referring to the Night King? I like that they leave it ambiguous here, guys. All right, so he says, hey, you need to go talk to Jon. You are his best friend. He will trust you. You need to go talk to him right now. And that is what he does. We find Jon praying next to the statue of Ned Stark, which is very poetic justice when you realize what is gonna come. Sam, I haven't seen you in a while. Says, yeah, you know, Daenerys, she killed my dad and my brother. He's like, well, I've killed people. He says, yes, but you pardoned all the wildlings. He says, but I wasn't a king. He says, but you are a king, Jon Snow. He He says, Jon, you are Aegon Targaryen, the true heir to the Iron Throne. He says, what? And he says, yes, it is you. You were born to be the king, and you are the true heir to the throne. You gave up your crown to save the people. Will she do the same? Jon Snow is thinking, how do I tell her this? Because it is true. Then we cut to the Umber house, and something is amiss here. We see the blood on the ground. Tormund is searching through it, and he finds Ed from the Night Watch. Ed says his eyes are blue. He says, my eyes are always blue. A little bit of comedy in this very, very ominous moment here. And then we see the tragic fate of little Ned Umber, guys, with this design here that the White Walkers and the Night King has been leaving for people. It is a message. And then Tormund says, well, now they are between us and Winterfell. We gotta get to them. And we see the sparkling of this blue eyes in the background. No, he is alive. So they burn it, and we see this better image of this symbol here. And we cut back to Winterfell. Jaime has arrived, and out of the corner of his eye, he has seen Bran. Oh, so many stories are coming together. Bran sees him. He is watching Jaime. Jaime remembers what he did all the way back in season 1. He is a very different character from season 1. He's very arrogant, very humble now, and he realizes the error of his ways. And Bran looks at him. All right, and there it is, guys. Episode 1, season 8 of Game of Thrones is in the books. The beginning of the end is over. And that leads to some other questions. What is going to happen next? What is going to happen when Jon and Daenerys, once she realizes who he really is? Well, it might be answered in the next one. As we see some previews from next week, we see Jaime talking to Daenerys. Bran is there as well. What is going to happen with them? Very, very different character than he was in season 1. So I'm hoping they sense that and give him some forgiveness and not punish him for the crimes against the Mad King and against Bran himself. Next, we see a scene with Jon and Daenerys in the catacombs under Winterfell. Is this where it's gonna happen? Is this where Daenerys is gonna realize who Jon is? I'm happy that Jon realized it so often, or so early on in the season, which means that hopefully Daenerys will realize it as well and can move on and see what happens as a result of them learning all this. I'm hoping that they get this out of the way very early on in this season, and I'm hoping it happens next episode in this scene right here. Then we see a scene with Jon Snow talking to Tormund. Yes, so then we know from the last episode that they made it ahead of that big undead army of the Night King, and he asks how long they have. Tormund says probably till morning. Next scene, we see some battle footage of a catapult and Jorah on his horse outside the wall, looking like they're ready for battle. We could be getting a lot next episode, guys, and as always, so excited to see, and I really can't wait that whole week. What did you guys think of this episode? I really liked it, really looking forward to it, but my main complaint, as it is with every single episode, I wish it went on a little longer. Hope you guys like this review. Let me know if you want to see more Game of Thrones videos on this channel. Probably gonna do a review after each episode, but if you guys want to see more than that, let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you like this. Smash that like button, join the notification squad. Hulk fist bump. I will see you guys next time. ValleyFlyin out.